Don't cry. You're perfect.
I've been talking a lot about Arcane lately, mostly in live streams and longer form videos, so I wanted to take this opportunity and tell you why I think Arcane is so important in this modern era and why I think it is so revolutionary and hopefully sets a standard going forward. Now, there is a lot we could talk about, and we have. I will link those videos in the cards. But Arcane is a series born out of a video game I had never heard of, nor did I care about. But it brought me in, and it did a lot more than that. Now, if you are new to the channel or this is the first time seeing one of my videos, make sure you guys hit subscribe. As always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think when it comes to Arcane. If you're a fan of the series, let me know. If you absolutely hate it, let me know. I would be very surprised how many of you out there actually hated this show, but I do think there are some very important elements we need to specifically kind of hone in on and talk about when it comes to this series as a whole. Because the animation, first and foremost, is the new gold standard. And previous to this, it maybe was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but this animation is so well done. I want to see more each and every single time. The animation is what we should expect, or at least strive for, when it comes to bigger companies like DC or Marvel, but instead we settle because we want to see a good story, because we want to watch our favorite characters. And keep in mind, all of these characters were brand new to me, starting with episode 1. Now, also, I want to highlight the different types of characters than we normally see, right? We have great characters without stereotypes. It is kind of a trope subversion in a way, because women in this series are much more than sex appeal. They are deep, they are flawed, they are beautiful, but that doesn't matter, because that at no point is discussed. What is discussed is why they do what they do, why they are scared, why they are sad, why they triumph or they fall. Now, also, a great character that I'm hoping in season 3 that are more than just protectors. They are fathers. They are people that own a business. They are people that run an underworld. They have a bigger role than just to either protect or provide. And I think that's really important. And we also have elites in this. Elites that are much more than their money. We see a relationship form between Mel and Jace. And that relationship is kind of, in a way, a little bit parasitic. And we see that Mel may be using him, but maybe falling for him at the same time. We see their struggle. We see what they go through coming from the bottom of topside and working their way up. Those elites have personality, and they are much more than just their money. One thing this show does absolutely an amazing job of, almost to the point where I would say Jinx is very rivalrous with Harley Quinn in a different way. But psychological trauma and mental health in this show are done in such a phenomenal way. It almost slipped past me when it came to Jinx, because I was very confused when it comes to her PTSD and her really being in need, her neediness and that need to be attached. And it's done in such a great way. We learn why they suffer, what reasons behind their trauma they actually have this different types of personalities. And it is not just Jinx that has mental issues within this. We see other great characters like Vi. She is very much so putting up her walls and making sure nobody can knock them down. Until eventually, maybe, Caitlyn knocks them down. But they all suffer from different types of maybe mild depression or anxiety, and we see that come out in their faces, in the way they act. And Jinx, her absolutely doing crazy without needing to be sexy is something we have not necessarily seen before. Because Harley Quinn can do crazy, but she does crazy sexy. And Jinx definitely sells crazy in a great way without needing to be sexy. And I actually think that's a trope I cannot name previous to this show. Now, of course, you may have your own examples of this, but I've not necessarily seen one done quite this well. And I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan, so that says a lot. So, also, I want to talk about the depiction of capitalism and oppression, police brutality, and representation. Stay with me here. Don't click away yet. What I mean is, we see a very divided nation. We have people from the lane, people from the top side, basically the elites and the urban areas, but they do this in a way and show these oppressed people without necessarily putting it down to their skin color. And a lot of times we see these stereotypes in shows where they show this area, and it's not necessarily the best, but it is pretty stereotypically black. Not here. People can be oppressed without having it to do with their skin color. And in this show, there's great representation. Do not get me wrong. There absolutely is. But everybody is equal in topside. And unfortunately, it is really not shown in other media the way it is shown in this one. Now, when it comes to police brutality, we see a lot with the enforcers, and it's typically just your corrupted cops, right? They work for the elites. They work for the people with money. And it's very vindicative of a society that we live in. And unfortunately, they really take a look at this and kind of go, we can turn this on its head and we can show what it's like to be brutalized by these people in the lanes, right? So the last thing I really want to highlight here is the familial bonds and imperfections that extend beyond blood. Because we know in the beginning, both Jinx and Violet's parents passed away. Vander took care of them and raised them into an age where he then passed away. And then we see that familial bond again with Jinx and Silco. And at the beginning, I wondered about that relationship, right? I kind of had to take a step back and go, whoa, she's on his lap. Is this getting weird, or where are we going to have something about grooming, or are we going to, nope. This was an amazing relationship between a father, and we could definitely call him a father, and his daughter. And that last line where he looks at her and he says, "You are perfect, don't cry," is so moving. Till the day he died, everything he wanted and had, he gave to her. He would put his life on the line for her. An adopted child that he didn't have anything to do with their childhood, right? He wasn't there until she was, midway. I don't know her exact age, maybe 7, 8, 9, right? He wasn't there. But that love grew without blood. And I think it's really a great kind of idea of adoption and how one person can change the other, and one person can really form a bond with somebody without necessarily having to show blood or share blood. And I also think it's really important to show the imperfections of a family instead of just sitting around the fire or around the dinner table and eating Christmas dinner. We see that these families struggle. We see that they work together, though, even through struggling or messing up or losing loot. We see them struggle, and then we see them come together as a family to work and play. And I really like it. I really 100% think you should be watching this show. It is setting the gold standard for next year, and it is going to be very, very hard to live up to. I'm telling you right now, I don't know another show that came out this year that is this good. I'm hoping we see this integrated into becoming something a little bit more popular, people seeing it and being inspired by it to do better in their own personal work. But that is yet to be seen. Anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think. This is probably my last Arcane video. But yeah, absolutely check it out. I will see you guys in the next one.